here.
What's up, Sean? How's it going? Good for
Oh, spacious.
Yeah. And the vibes are immaculate. Thanks for being here.
Do you guys talk? This is Akira.
Look, Jeremy. Yeah, incredible.
Akira, who you talked over text.
Oh, I see. Fantastic. Okay, you're the Stanford. Yeah.
And I just met Akira's friend as well. What's your friend's name? I know Juan. So Juan and Newton are there, and they're all at Stanford right now.
Okay, fantastic. Welcome to AGIS.
Excited that you're here.
Yeah.
Is that first time here?
Oh, cool. Wow. You're right. First time, and then cool. It's new here. Yeah. I'm gonna kick things off. Hey Jacob, I'm gonna kick things off for you.
Yes, I'm ready.
Any requests are you to go?
Yes, let me. Let's see. I have one thing I would like to include in the announcement, and then lightning talks. Did we have any signups?
There are tons. There'll be more.
All right.
I'm gonna have everyone
Beautiful.
announce what they want to attend.
Okay, we're good. Let's do it.
There's one other speaker actually checking.
So like real like
And what project is your space where people can stand up for one?
Welcome to the AI for Thought Hackathon! Woo! Find your seats. Prepare yourselves for what is hopefully a moment of collective invention.
If you're in need of an extra chair, there are a ton of chairs right here. You just grab one if you need one.
Feel free to organize these pairs for you all. Okay, first of all, welcome to AGIS. My name is Jeremy. I'm the founder and creator of the AGI Houses. And this is a space where we treasure creative invention. And the spirit of the hackathon is just that. It's the moment, the spark of inspiration that turns in the same day into a completed demo project, something shipped, something launched. And so there is an intention to come together to co-create the future of Tools for Thought. And now Tools for Thought has a long and storied history. Every one of us, knows and loves the mouse, the keyboard, the computer. The concept that the computer is this way for you to think more effectively, to process ideas, has been so deeply embedded in our society and our work that we don't even think to question it anymore. But it's clear that we are able to create a new generation of processes for thinking. And in so many ways, the internalization of the process of thought into our computers is what has exposed us to this incredible explosion of capabilities of artificial intelligence. So, joy to be with you. First, quick question. Who here is familiar with the Zettl-Kosten? The Zettl-Kosten? Okay, fantastic. A solid 20 to 30%, but actually the rest of you, I get to basically experience the beauty of network thought. And our second question, who's familiar with the MEMIX, the memory index? Okay, cool. So I just will walk through both of these ideas very quickly. because they're the cornerstone of what is typically called tools for thought. The idea being that there are systems that enhance your memory, systems that enhance your attention, that create an ability for you to connect with everything you've ever thought or experienced, to connect with ideas that you've written, that you've read. And the concept of the Zettelkasten is this idea in note-taking where you connect your notes to all of your other notes via simple bidirectional links. And in creating these exobrains or external representations of your thoughts and of your ideas, you end up with a representation of your mind that is outside your mind, that you can reference, that you can share with other people, and that you can really use to grow yourself. It's the concept that writing is this extended form of thinking, a higher quality form of thinking. And in so many ways, you can integrate your exobrain or your Zettelkasten or your second brain with AI systems today. The second idea is that of the memory index. The memex actually was sort of this idea from the 60s, the thought that everything you experience can be stored in a software system and be retrieved. It's the idea that your memory doesn't have to die with your experience. It can be internalized through technological systems. And everything from the ability to record the voices that are speaking today to basically experiencing all of your writing over again through AI tooling is the ability to play your memory back and create memory systems that expose you to your previous experiences. And so one core idea in AI for thought is the expansion of our minds through the expansion of memory and the expansion of attention. And I guess this is an event that comes in many ways out of a long history. So Jacob Cole is here. It's here for Jacob. You guys are aware of so he actually, has been creating AI for thought related communities, memex communities for like 10 years. And so we had this memex meetup at another group house called the Archive, originally back in 2019. And the core idea was very simple: bring folklore, like building Notion or Rome. Jacob was building IdeaFlow together, and co-create these software systems that allow us to extend our ability to think. And in that tradition, I'm super excited to sort of inaugurate you all into tools for thought. And so the first experience for all of us will be that of co-creation. So I have a question for all of you, which is kind of an introduction from everyone to everyone. It's in the spreadsheet that was sent out, and I'll send it out again right now. But the core question to answer is, how has AI changed the way that you think? So we're going to sit for 3 or 4 minutes and have everyone in the room give their name and also a description of how AI has transformed their thinking. Feel free to mention specific tools or how you use them. For me, I'll talk about how creating basically group chats or clones of myself has advanced my ability to do research, but for you it might be something totally different. An Anthropic employee here was telling me about how his note system was like banned at Anthropic. This is like damaging his ability to think, kind of thing. So actually, if there's some way in which you know that AI is powerful or useful, feel free to use it. I guess I'm going to set out 4 minutes, so please be silent while everyone is thinking and writing. So from 12:09 to 12:13, tell everyone how AI has changed the way you think. Any questions about this? Say, open spreadsheet, add your name, add this.
Is this on Slack spreadsheet?
We'll send it to Slack right here. There's an at channel at Slack message.
Do the Wi-Fi password.
You need the Wi-Fi. The
Yeah.
password is attention is all you need. The Wi-Fi is AGI. 2 more minutes to get in the description of how AI has changed the way that you think.
Where did you post it?
Actually, in Slack. I also, because since that other part of it's the same spreadsheet program.
Maybe on your old Slack, is there a new one?
It should be the same Slack channel AI for thought, but I will also text blast it in case you're in the classroom. It's an easier way to feature it.
You're supposed to do a couple.
Were you able to get the text blast? Well, okay, let's time. Feel free to keep adding your ideas if need be, but let's just get two folk to quickly tell the room how's AI transformed your thing. I'm curious to share.
We're speaking out loud?
Yeah, if you want.
Oh, I basically use it to challenge my assumptions and to force me to actually push back on every single assumption I make, and it basically forces me to second guess myself in a healthy way using observable third-party facts that I don't know. And I work in
It's
the
for critical thinking.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wait, what's your name?
Oh, I don't know. I need to ask my AI.
It sees you.
Yeah, so real. It sounds like the entire companies have offloaded their thinking.
Yes.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it's taught me how to manipulate because of prompt engineering. So sometimes you can get around blocked topics by asking things in different ways.
Oh, I see. So prompt is doing this.
I'm not sure if it's something that's happening on purpose, but I think mine got. It doesn't matter. But when I'm working with a human collaborator, I would never cuss or yell at them, or because I filter it for their feelings. But the chatbot isn't a person, so if I feel like a really shitty fucking piece of AI slop, I find that I can just tell it that because its feelings will be, which I never thought would be a way that I'd collaborate with a computer much less a person.
Yeah, there's this sort of whole new category of psychic. Come on and say what we're really thinking.
Right, exactly.
Is that affecting how you talk to people?
How's that affected how I talk to people? You'd probably have to ask my friends, but I hope not.
They
won't tell you.
So I actually started kind of creating this specialized little parts of the way I think into little mini brains.
Yeah.
So in fact, I'm using agents to do that at this point. But I'm creating on a very specific thing the way I think, so it can actually become my thought partner as an extension. So I'm pretty much doing a thought partnership almost on every decision intentionally at this point.
Yeah, I think a lot of our own ideas look a lot better as soon as this comprehensive AI is created this phenomenal version. Generally speaking, the decision making feels huge. Okay, so that is fantastic. We are going to kick it off with the first presentation, which is a very special presentation. It's from the winner of the previous AI for Thought hackathon. Not only are they going to tell you how they achieved a victory you could have seen today, but they are going to walk you through an incredibly deep and thoughtful way to live with artificial intelligence. Let's hear it from Sasha. Thanks.
Hi. Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is Sasha. I used to work at Meta. I was there for 7 years. I worked from Newsfeed, AI Experiences, and Fair, where I did multimodal learning. In 2022, in November time, I was among I believe a large amount, I don't know the exact number, I was among a huge layoff. I don't blame Meta because in that year I had a mental health crisis, and I took a 4-month leave from my job. And so, of course that happened, and I thought, okay, with my severance, I'm gonna go chase hackathons. So in 2023, I participated in 19. I went to 21 total. I hosted 2 of them, and I eventually won 7. So it's not a very huge, impressive number, but I think because I've been doing hackathons for a while, I have bits to share with you all. And especially if you've gone to as many hackathons as I have, there are lessons that you keep seeing happen. So this is kind of like a motivation for the talk, and also just treat it with a grain of salt. It's quite biased from my own experience. In order to have a good hack, I think you only need 2 things. One is a good idea, and another is the right attitude. I'll talk about good idea in a bit, but having the right attitude to me means 2 things. One is to be equanimous. A lot of things go wrong in a hackathon. Your teammate might leave, you might get frustrated at a certain feature not implemented the way you want. Bugs happen in libraries that you're trying to use. So everything is happening so quickly under a short period of time, and I think the ability to remain calm in the turbulence is really important, and just focus your eyes on the bigger picture. The second part about having the right attitude is putting in the effort. I remember there was one hack, it was a weekend hack, and on Saturday, we just spent the entire day brainstorming ideas, so we wrote 0 code. And then someone in the chat proposed Saturday night that we should wake up at 7 a.m. and then do the hack. And the deadline was at 11 a.m. on Sunday, and I thought to myself, nobody's gonna wake up that early, no way. And of course I joined 7:05 onto the Zoom, and everyone was there. And we ended up winning that hack. To me, the lesson is not the fact that we won, but to me, it's these people are my people. Regardless of what I do, these people will always have my respect because they have the right attitude. And to this day, some of them are still my close friends that I lean on all the time. So winning a hackathon has 4 stages. I'll quickly go over each of them. The first step is goal reflection. Who has reflected before coming here why they are here, why they want to come here? Oh, can I get some ideas from sharing what your goals of this hackathon is? Maybe you?
Oh. I'm here because I know there's a lot of brilliant people in this room, and kind of like how I use AI agents to inject fact-based thoughts into my own head to respond against. That's what I'm doing here. So you're all extensions of my AI experience.
I enjoy building, and I feel like it'd be fun to build something that's outside of what I'm doing day to day, and just kind of more exploratory, and just a bit of a breath of fresh air from that.
I like that. Yeah.
I think I've done a lot of work in tools for thought over a few decades, and I'm just curious about the next generation and what people are thinking right now with the rise of this stuff.
Great. So, so some of them are more interested in the domain. So, for that as an example, other people are kind of seeking another perspective, different ways of thinking in what you're building. The real questions also like boil down to like, do you want to win also, right? How much of your like you being here is that you want to win? Do you want to have fun? Do you want to meet potential co-founders or network or find hires, employees? I talked about the domain, or do you want to learn a particular tool? Someone mentioned like what are the tools that people are using in the wild. So once you have this kind of clarity, everything else becomes easy. And so when I go to hackathons, you know, I often like the first question is, what is your goal? Like if their goal is to find potential co-founders, then the idea doesn't matter as much. You want to find someone who is really capable, who can execute, and who has the right attitude, right? Like in the face of like a lot of pressure, they pull through. And so that's the first stage, is to do a lot of reflection. The second stage is idea selection. So typically when I go to a hackathon, if I were wanting to win, the first step, winning needs to be a part of the goal. I then show up on time, chat with everyone to understand what their ideas are. And a good idea, and then I like probably will settle on like one or two ideas that I feel really passionate about. And then I talk to them about detailed implementation, how they think about it. A good idea, I summarize it into like 3 components. One is how novel it is. Secondly is alignment to the judging criteria. And lastly is like minimum work. So I want to talk about the novelty a bit. You want to pick an idea that's new. If you've gone to a lot of hackathons, you kind of always hear the same ideas, like AI girlfriends. Mind you, this is 2 years ago. I don't know what ideas people have. It seems like everyone's super into vibe coding these days. So 2 years ago, it was like AI girlfriends, like chat with your spreadsheet, and things like that. And so over time, you'll like be able to filter it out because people have been building these over and over. So you want to like think about new ideas. And it's not that you can't build AI girlfriend. It's like if you have a unique perspective that you think will like really stand out, or unique implementation detail that's really good that you really want to chase, do that. That would be the novel aspect of your idea. And I talked about alignment with the judges. And then when you're chatting with them about the idea, you should have like an understanding of how long the idea will take to implement in your head. For a hackathon like this, we only really have like 6 hours or so, I would say. You want to plan for a hack that would, in your head, would take like 3 to 4 hours, roughly. That's even that, it's a lot. It's like you want to leave a lot of room for things to happen. And pick a stack that you're familiar with, like come with planned preparation and processes that you have iterated over and over. Lastly, I want to talk about planning and execution. Cut the fluff, down scope, no need to implement all, only show the important core features. In the beginning, you should spend 30 minutes mapping out how the day is going to go. I usually have things like roughly in mind of like, okay, by 2 p.m. I'm going to finish like everything or something like that. And then clearly assign responsibilities with teammates. Find teammates whose skill is comparable to yours. Leave a lot of room in the end. So if the presentation is at 6, you want to start integrating everything at 4:30, and because issues happen. Lastly, for the presentation, always record a video in case demo guy dislikes you. And if live demo, be funny, charismatic, interact with the audience. If this is not natural, you can train for it by doing improv. Bonuses, ideally you have deployed a working system with a public URL that people can try. This is especially important if the judging happens outside of the presentation time. Like the judges are gathering in a room looking through your demos. They don't usually look at your descriptions or anything. They just like click the demo link and then start playing with it. If it works end to end, then it's usually like, you know, fitting a certain criteria that they have. Now you might ask, this is really hard. I'm asking you guys to do a lot of reflection. Like what your goals are by being here. if you don't know how to answer that, well, I have a gift for you. I open sourced my winning hackathon just this morning, and so here's the URL. It has a lot of like cool features, things around emotion tracking. That it's able to tell your emotions over time and track based on activities that you mentioned in your journal. And it also has features for value tracking as well. When people typically have aspirational values and observed values. So sometimes for people, like, it's not quite aligned, and the patterns in your action kind of tell a lot about who you are. And my AI journal is more geared towards that. A lot really came from my experience going through that mental health crisis. And so it's like a thing that I pour my heart into. And the reason I actually raised funding for this product, and ended up like wanting it down, the reason I wanted to want it down is because I think mental health is, like, everyone is so different, and mental health is something that's like so unique to everyone. And I think a tool should really exist as open source because people can really build on it, build the thing that they want to see that works for them. So yeah, go at it, fork it, make it pretty. It's only built on Streamlit. I don't know if you want, you can build a nice pretty front end for it. Lastly, I want to share, like, currently I'm a co-founder of a very well-funded small startup. We're building a frontier model. We're looking for full-time software engineers, DevRels, MLEs, infra, DevOps, data scientists. And our team currently is from OpenAI and Anthropic, people who built these companies. So if you're interested, come chat with me. My friend Sherwin here is also hiring. He's looking for Rust engineers. Yeah, that's everything I have. Do you have questions?
What's the name of the company?
Oh, we'll talk afterwards. We're stealth and trying to not be on the map. More questions?
So with the thought of everything Sasha had to devote to how to win a hackathon in mind, we're going to move to allowing you to share your proposed projects with everybody else. So we're going to take 3 or 4 minutes. Open up the spreadsheet, and in the proposed projects tab, just add your name and your project idea. And I love a session where, if you like, you can give a lightning talk, a pitch. So rather than me, it will be you standing here talking about your idea, so that teammates can join if they're interested. The recording is, take the next 3 minutes. So it's currently 29 after. We'll go to 32 after. Just heads down, writing your project idea for everyone to see. Any questions? Okay.
Where do we enter in the Bolt code?
We're on the Bolt website.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to check that out later. Right now, it's just proposed contest. More seconds to add. Okay, fantastic. That is a glorious body of projects that we have on. Up next, we have the super connector himself. Jacob Cole will be giving a talk on Tool for Thought. Let's hear it for Jacob.
Hello. Where is your nervous system? That's my question for you guys. Is it here? Is it here? Is it in the room? Who here, does anyone here have a very sort of like private space to themselves in their house that they keep really organized? Raise your hand. Sometimes, yeah, and other times people don't. If someone messes with that private space, does it feel kind of intimate? Like, does it feel like, they're messing with something inside your head?
Yes.
It's like they're literally reaching into my head and moving my thoughts around. It's a similar feeling with my note-taking app. And the more I lean on it, the more I offer my nervous system to it and let it be my support and my extension, the more like intimate it feels if it ever gets messed with, if it ever loses a note, if something gets it feels like brain surgery, really. So what I have to share is two insights. One is pragmatic, and the other is really pragmatic. The really pragmatic one is how can our AI tools help us feel free to relinquish our thoughts, such that it's possible to paddle out past the waves. Every thought, in a very physical way, is a wave on the substrate of the brain. And there's a neuronal firing that we perceive and experience. Like in the ocean, if you paddle long enough and persistently enough, you get out past the waves, and there's a shared ocean. And that can be experienced and felt. The wisdom state, the wisdom mind. I invite people to think of ways we can, in fact, more quickly get past the wisdom mind. For me, it is having a place I can dump the things that are pulling me back into the thought realm. And that's why I build tools for thought ultimately, so I can let go of thoughts and trust that they're going to be taken care of in the way they want to be. So that's my invitation. My second invitation is, can everybody check their text messages right now? And look on the Particle. It's just a link to this tool called Superconnector. One of the things that helps me relax in the way I just described is knowing that all the people I want to connect are taken care of. I'm so sad every time there's a room and there's people who could be co-founders, intellectual soulmates, incredible synergies. That is money we're leaving on the table. That's potential we're leaving on the table. That's win-wins we're leaving on the table. And so, as a side project, I put together a tool which has helped relieve me of that tension. It's called Super Connector. And you could literally put one word about yourself or what you're looking for as a start. You can always add more, just a chatbot. And it'll tell you who in this room you might want to talk with, instead of having to, in a sort of n-squared, end-to-end person way, repeat all your introductions. So let's take a minute and do that. Has anyone gotten a match yet, or a suggested match yet?
I
I don't match with you, actually.
You're a match for everyone.
Gotta check.
I have a match with you too.
Is that on purpose?
No, it's just that I have a very large profile, so I have a lot of hit
Yeah.
stuff.
Is there Jacob Cole here?
Yeah, I think it's I have so much stuff in my profile compared to other people, so I think that I've got more to connect on. But you don't have to all connect with me unless you feel called.
Requesting intro.
Sure. So yeah, describe also like what your team is looking for, or project idea. You can just dump your ideas in this, like copy paste them from the spreadsheet, and it might find people who have an interest in similar topics. So. So last thing I'll share while you guys are doing that. Has anyone ever gotten really excited late at night talking to an AI chatbot about something? You've been excited? Yeah, you've gotten really excited. Can someone share something they got excited about?
First time when Grok released their Valentino, very interesting. Very interesting. I won't reveal my conversation, but I would say, holy cow.
Amazing.
That was really, yeah, I think I want everyone to try that. I think there's something there.
Well, plus 5 points for catching the energy level by Elon Musk. I mean, he caught the heart level of humanity here. Anyone else have an ecstatic experience? Tell me.
Yeah, I think in one of those nights we had like some self-doubt about what you're doing. I just asked him to become like my coach and with my favorite mentors and offers in there, and then have this feeling of, well, I can just go out there and accomplish anything, conquer the world after 5 minutes of.
Wow, we have to share that prompt. Jeremy, tell me one of the examples you've got.
I guess I was at the ocean, and I was thinking about the system that I just built, which was like a machine learning algorithm generator that used this sort of prompt space to create hypotheses and auto-evaluated generative algorithms. And it suggested that like I have taken a particular stance to sort of creating this meta prompt space, and actually I could create a stance generator which would like be this meta prompt that like, created all of the meta prompt processes, which would like, themselves create algorithm spaces. And yeah, I tried it.
Wow, so the idea there. So what I want to float in all these things, there's like there's like the support. There's a few different aspects of ecstasis. Who here's read the book Stealing Fire? It's a book on, so the word ecstatic literally means to stand outside oneself. And it's even deeper than the title would suggest. And it's a Greek word. But almost everything, or many things humans are seeking is to like be in an expanded state of consciousness. The Indian philosopher Sri Aurobindo called it the superconscious state. When there's this bliss of union of your nervous system with something else. It's so intrinsically blissful. And what I invite us all to do in whatever we're doing is when we feel unified with that AI, just notice that moment of bliss, of connection, of extending our nervous system. Notice that bliss and give it space to propagate through the rest of our system, because that's a gateway to possibly the superconscious state in ourselves. And that's maybe that resonance is one of the most exciting potentials of AI I can imagine. This is as interesting as meditation or psychedelic therapy or any of these other things to explore the bliss of connection just with an AI. So anyway, enjoy. I'm going to introduce our next person, and after the talks, yeah, feel free to find someone on the Super Connector thing. If you do end up meeting an interesting match, come tell me about it later. Find me sometime later today. I'd like to introduce Akira, who's like really tuned to profound conversations, that the kind of things that you'd stay up all night, late at night in college, with a group of people. He's just like has that essence of interestingness. That he's the kind of person you do that with. And he's got a lot of skills, but he builds full, I don't even know what he's talking about today, but he builds full-on AI co-scientists as his research at Stanford. He also happens to be a VC. He's done a lot of investment stuff. What other things should I share about you, Akira?
I'll turn it back on.
All right, well, come on up. Take it easy.
Yeah, right.
Hey Siri, where are you?
Also, if anyone wants to poke me about IdeaFlow, my company at some point, you can find it at ideaflow.io. We build an infinitely long searchable stack of your thoughts. That is very good for extending your memory. Yeah. Check it out. Use it, work with me, whatever you want to do. Enjoy.
All right, yeah, thanks, Jacob. Yeah, I've had a lot of very interesting conversations with Jacob as well, and so,
That sounded extensive.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess today I wanted to talk about my experiences in AI for science. That's sort of a lot of what my research is focused on at Stanford. And I think it's a very tangential field to AI for thought. And also as a VC, I've seen where interest is from a commercial perspective as well. And so I thought I might ask some leading and guiding questions on what people in the research and VC community find interesting, especially as it relates to AI for thought. And so my background, I'm a grad student currently at Stanford in biomedical data science. I work with James Zoe. We recently released a publication called Virtual Lab, where we have simulations of these scientists that interact with each other in silico, and through that we get to a curated hypothesis for solving various problems, whether it be in AI or biomedical discovery or material science. And so we're trying to come up with this general purpose framework for how do you automate scientific discovery. I'm also an investor with LBB Partners. We are a deep tech, early stage venture capital firm. I personally invest across AI, bio, and robotics. Some of our portfolio companies, especially in the AI space, just because it's your audience, include companies like Anthropic, 11 Labs, Pika, Luma. These Pika and Luma are sort of video generation labs. 11 Labs, Sesame are voice models. We also invest in anything we consider frontier technologies like SpaceX and Neuralink, as well as Impossible Foods. And finally, I'm a member of the Quad Investor Network. So Quad is a joint collaboration between Japan, India, Australia, and the US. And it's a sort of, we try to look at what are emerging technologies between these 4 countries that are interesting to invest in. And so if anyone has any connections with regards to AI for science, or AI biorobotics, or any any collaboration between international collaboration within Quad, I'd be happy to connect and talk more. So AI for science. One thing that I've consistently seen throughout, whether it be AI, robotics, or life sciences, is data limitation. Right. So we're going from a regime where we were compute limited to a regime where we're gradually more and more data limited. And there are companies out there like Scale AI and Mercer who are trying to solve this issue, but there's several problems with the current methodology for human data collection. And so the first one is it's very, very difficult to recruit and empower a long tail of expert annotators. So if you look at fields like scientific discovery or law or medicine, these are areas that require a lot more expertise than say like labeling where a car is in an image, or where a how to spell things, right? So Scale AI, Mercer, it's very easy to collect low skilled labor at scale. But the main question, like we've been asking a lot, is how do you recruit a long-tailed expert annotators who aren't necessarily motivated just by money, right? And so I think it's very related to AI for thought, because if you can create a tool to extract the thought processes of very smart people, I think that data could be extremely valuable for AI for science or anything related to this like long tail of expert human annotation. The second one is how do you review and scale expert annotation for complex tasks? So if you look at what Scale AI does to like validate data, it's usually through comparing across many annotators. It's very related to the first one, but with low-skilled annotators, right, you can have 5 to 10 people do the exact same tasks, and if they're consistent, then you can say that's very accurate. But if there's inconsistencies, then you can say, okay, maybe these annotations aren't as accurate. It's much harder to do with experts because it's so much more expensive. How do you scale that with tools? That's another thing that we think about a lot. Another thing is boosting throughput of limited experts with tools and automations. Are there ways we can imagine creating tooling around the interview process or annotation process of experts so that we can gather as much data as possible and maybe like highly curated, very clean data? So 2 research examples of this would be recently Google released a paper or a press release about trying to figure out what exact data sets the model is missing in order to sort of take care of these long-tail problems. And so you can come up with highly curated questions in order to enable data extraction from experts for a particular model. Another example of this is Critic GPT from OpenAI. What they've done is instead of having annotators just look at 2 data sources and trying to evaluate it, you have a language model evaluate it first. And so if a language model is able to come up with a summary of an annotation, you can guide the expert annotator, so it's much quicker to do the annotation process. And then the last thing is increasing margins. So experts are very, very expensive compared to low-skilled labor. So if you try to scale expert annotation, that can be very expensive, right? And so these are, I think, opportunities in terms of both from a commercial perspective and from a research perspective, and I think where a lot of people find interest, regardless of the industry. I've seen this in robotics. Robotics is a very data-scarce industry. Language modeling is transitioning from a compute to data-limited regime, and then science as well, where I work. So there is a limitation to human data, right? Which is that you cap the capabilities of the model at what humans are capable of. Also, it's very hard to scale at the end of the day. And so, in order to overcome this bottleneck, you have to use reinforcement learning or have these agents interact with an environment. So Richard Sutton recently, maybe like a few months ago, released this article called The Era of Human Experience, or Era of Experience, I think that's what it's called. But essentially, he previously predicted the scaling laws through an essay called The Bitter Lesson. His next essay on the Era of Human Experience talks about how, because we're bottlenecked by human data scaling, the next step should be trying to have these agents interact with an environment and automatically generate automatically generate data to train these models at scale. And so in order to do this, for science, for example, so there's a lot of open-ended questions. The first one is, how do you evaluate open-ended scientific discovery? If you are asking, if there's a research hypothesis, how do you know that this is good? You need, how do you automatically evaluate whether a research hypothesis is good? You have to build a reward model for that, right? And how do you enable that? How do you do this automatically at scale? That's another question we ask. And the last thing is, how do you make these language models more creative? Language models aren't necessarily good at these creative, out there tasks. AlphaEvolve is a Google paper that attempted to do this in very confined domains. And one way they approach this is by, rather than they did come up with an evolutionary algorithm, but from my perspective, I think where they were very innovative is where how they scoped out the projects, where they applied the tools. So if you can think of a very a problem space where there's very narrow search space, that's where these language models excel in terms of creative problem solving. The last thing I'd like to mention is, James's lab recently released this Nature paper on Virtual Lab and AI co-scientist frameworks. We're actually spinning off a company out of this, and we are still in stealth. We've already raised, but if you're interested, we're recruiting for engineers and researchers as well. So if you're interested, please reach out. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions about any of the things that we discussed today. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Can you tell us more about the AI for Science startup?
Sure. So we are still similar situation in stealth, and so yeah, feel free to reach out after. But broadly speaking, we're applying AI co-scientist frameworks to problems in biopharma initially, and then we'll probably expand out to years as well.
You referenced somebody who wrote 2 papers, one around Bitter Lesson and Era of Human Experience or Era of Experience.
Yes,
Who was that?
Richard Sutton. Yeah, so I think if you look him up, you'll find what else. Yeah.
I tried to look up, is it the reward is enough paper, or is, I couldn't find it.
Yeah, let's see. It's called Welcome to the Era of Experience. Yes. Yeah.
You conceptualize AI for science as being principally limited to the realm of actual information processing, search, and sort of hypothesis generation, or do you actually extend your thinking into executional realms of actually optimization of execution, real-world data collection, etc.?
Yeah, I think it's both. So when I think of science, scientists, they have heuristics for example, biologists. They have heuristics for what would work well given their experiences. So I'm not sure how many of you are biologists, but there's this thing called knocking out a gene, where you remove a gene from an organism. And when you do that, you expect the level of that gene to go down. But then in practice, sometimes you see it go up instead. If you're a good biologist, oh, that's probably because of homeostasis, which is a mechanism to sort of counter what's happening. And so I think a lot of scientists and researchers, they, through experience, learn these heuristics, and that helps them inform hypothesis generation or experiment, decide what methods are best in certain settings. And so one thing I also think about is how do you build these heuristics in these systems.
Curious about the creativity question. How do you expect to either create more creative foundation models or create creative processes or whatever solution you have?
Oh, yeah, creative. Yeah, so one interesting finding from that AlphaEvolve paper was, they tried to optimize for a bunch of different metrics. So, let's say in protein engineering, for example, let's say you're trying to engineer a protein from scratch. A common metric you might optimize for is stability of the protein, right? One thing they found is if you add more metrics, then the model did better at optimizing for that single metric rather than if you were to only use one metric alone. That's very counterintuitive because if you consider optimization theory, if you multivariate optimization, you sacrifice optimizing for the core metric if you include other metrics. But in this case, you saw the exact opposite. So what this implies is that hallucination is really important potentially for like creativity, because once you add irrelevant metrics, it's sort of expanding the search space. Like it's considering alternative possibilities that aren't a result of pure deductive reasoning, if that makes sense. And so I think there has been a lot of theories about this, right? That like hallucination is like a core part of creativity, where like you explore like things that aren't necessarily just a result of like deductive reasoning. I think the paper sort of provides additional evidence for something like that.
I have a question about your virtual lab.
Yeah.
So how deep are you going in the validation process? So you have to jump from in silico to in vivo, and then you have to introduce animal models. So how ambitious you are?
Yeah, I think the specifics we can talk about together, like because we're all still in stealth. So yeah, let's talk about after.
You mentioned your fund, LDV Partners and the Quad Investor Network. What stage are you at, and what do you seed, or what level? Series, et cetera.
Yeah, so we invest at the seed and Series A level, and we usually our check sizes are usually between 1 and 5 million.
So when you're thinking about AI for science, how do you overcome like the out of distribution problem? Like for the case, like how do you basically think about generalizing beyond the sequence fitness landscape associated with protein sort of binding? So like the epistasis, the epistatic bias that we have in our data representation around individual binding events, and actually getting out to novel sequence space rather than just like small point-wise changes in a fairly small like sequence.
Yeah. So your question is like, how do you solve the auto distribution? Is that the?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I mean, this is still an active area of research. We are exploring a few possibilities at Virtual Lab. So again, happy to talk after.
Cool. That's the last question for now. Huge round of applause.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
We're about to jump into hacking. Before we do, there's going to be basically tools given to you. So you should have all received credits for Hyperbolic and Bolt. Is there anyone who didn't receive your credits? Is everyone good to go? What was your struggle? Oh, sorry.
I have to be on the list, right?
Yeah, so actually everyone should have a Bolt credit code. And
Where do you enter the code?
Common question. So yeah, I will check in, make sure we can find that. Hopefully it's easy to find. I'll call them if needed.
I couldn't find where.
Were we supposed to get an email from Bolt?
There's just a code, so I don't think you should know
everybody's code.
yeah, I'll check in and make sure everyone can figure out how to get Bolt. There are two things though, I guess. So one is Hyperbolic has provided GPU credits for everyone, so please do train models if you want it. Similar story, Bolt has given us codes, we'll figure out where to pick up Bolt. At high level, Bolt is a app generator. Sorry, I don't already know. Who knows what Bolt is, first of all? Oh, actually, surprisingly few people. So Bolt is an app generator. Does anyone have an idea that they'd like to see created in real time? So let's try it out.
To-do list.
Well, no, make copies of my coworkers so I can yell at them. Well,
wait. Oh, okay.
So the AI for Thought Center to-do list. It's pretty simple. It's akin to multiple of these tools that basically will.
I can insert a cooler thing that it can probably also one-shot. But you can just do it. It's already done. It's already done. Okay.
So yeah, basically Bolt will create first app for you. It'll let you download and publish it to the internet if you'd like. I know they just came out with Bolt Cloud, so you can put the app on the website that they provide. So it's possible to go all the way from your textual description of your AI for thought idea to a website that might be functional for your purposes is like a first part. So what that run show how it works.
Can you connect it to a repo?
Uh,
Like Git repo?
Yeah, you should be able to create a Git repo that both updates and as sort of a feedback loop. And the second is hyperbolic. So basically you're providing GPUs and GPU support. You get spot or reserved instances. If you signed up before the time, you should already have $50 of credit for hyperbolic. And right now, the active instances that they have availability for look like they're 8 GPU machines if you're interested in something instant. And so, okay. But the spot GPUs are also available. So if you want to get 1800, it's 129 per hour. And this should be totally functional for a long 6 hours, 7 hour project. So the upside of having to do process is that if you like to train a model or fine tune a model, you can use these GPUs to do that. So big plus one for projects that you do that.
Was the email sent with credits on that? Or was it a
Yeah,
spreadsheet?
there's a form to sign up for that's both in the particle and that was sent out originally. And then, so we're going to have some lightning talks from prospective hackers who'd like to discuss their projects. We can't do an order, so if Jacob, are you interested in pitching your idea? Yeah, please pick one.
Yeah, I'll just choose one. I mean, yeah. So, what excites me is the prospect of having a little guy that's working day and night to move the world forward and my life forward. And what's the gap between the systems like ChatGPT and Claude and that right now? They just need a bunch of issues they can work on, and they need a workspace where they can put the output so they can make incremental progress. And then a script to run it locally. I'd like to build that today. I'd love to find a teammate, someone who's an engineer or designer would be great collaboration. Who's next?
Mickey, you can jump up if you're interested. If not, Albert. Yeah.
Who here uses Instagram? Just one person? like doom scrolling. So like there's a lot of content throughout BrainRot, but the creative process itself is like very process driven. It has like a lot of concentration and thought behind it. So I'm building a AI for BrainRot, an AI influencer. So basically, if you post a video on Instagram, you will give it some creative concept, a brand, a product. It will come up with like a script, a popular template for based on what's currently trending, and then we will release the video on Instagram. That's the project.
Sharpie, do you want to? That's what you should. Oh, okay. Great. Sherwin, Bison, are you? All right. Yeah, jump.
I want to make something stupid, which is, you know the Desktop Goose by Sam Person? Has anyone ever seen that? Where it like randomly walks around your desktop, drags memes onto your screen, and, like honks at you and like grabs your mouse and fucks with you. I want to make something like that. And to start, we can make a really brain rot thing where it's like a lizard and it pushes a button. It says lizard. It's very stupid. I don't know if you've seen that meme, but we can start there.
Hi, I'm Albert. So I don't know if you guys have ever tried to write a blog post, but I've tried to write several blog posts and I feel like I get a little bit of writer's block and just stuck. What I really want to do is just make a really easy AI interviewer that'll just interview you about a subject you want to write about, and it'll just prompt you for, you know, what you should be talking about, what people are interested in, and then just have kind of basically Zettelkasten, but for external things. So you can publish this, and it'll be tagged for other people to review, and it's less internal and more external.
Cambridge, right? With your Andrew, are you
Oh, I can go. Hey, my name is Vaishnav. So I'm building a meditation app. I've been doing some research on entraining brainwave states, and some forms of hallucinatory or strobing light patterns can actually help people enter meditative states. So I'm going to create an app around that, and I have an AI aspect to recommend meditations.
Very cool. Next question. Yeah, and Andrew, Ani, Ganesh, are you interested in lightning pitching?
I can just say from here. So essentially, I'm trying to take DNA code or molecule or any other code, convert that to a notation process into a musical note. So the idea is to kind of play music based on the notes, but basically it's literally the code is your DNA underneath. I'm just calling it your note. So if that interests you, just love to explore.
Ganesh, Jorge, Dashi, maybe.
Who knows about a memory palace? Plenty of people. For those that don't know, it's a way to remember things. So you create images and associate it along a journey. So the idea is, given a set of facts or a topic that you want to remember, an AI generates a curated memory palace to help you remember things. What do I need? Anyone who's interested, either I'm a machine learning engineer. If you're either design or an engineering skill set would be useful.
Hi, I'm Gretchen, my teammate Jorge, and I were thinking about how we need to get deeper into thinking more like Socratic learning way, in which we question our questions and challenge our assumptions and get a little bit into the solutioning with AI, so that we can sort of become partners in thinking and finding different perspectives rather than one line, and then crafting, synthesizing a final solution that looks more like the way we should think together, like three amigos. Or the developers have issues when it comes to that kind of thinking.
Yeah, so on the technical side, our goal is to address the fact that most of our interactions with AI are very linear and very conversational, and thought doesn't necessarily happen like that. So we're trying to get our AI to sort of argue with itself, interrogate itself, and we're going to build some tooling to try to do that.
Yes, hi, I'm Julius.
And I'm a less pretty version of him.
And we actually participated in a hackathon together last time, and there was one thing we couldn't hack but really want to hack now. It's his idea, so I'll give you credit for it and let you pitch it better than I could.
Don't you love when you have a hype man? It's so cool. No, basically, I have to ingest a huge amount of information as an AI researcher and as a biomedical researcher. And so what I find is when I go to the gym, I wish I could be actually listening to research papers, but I still need that beat. And so, and so what I want to do is actually take some of my research corpus, decompose that into critical lessons, turn those into interesting rhymes, put those rhymes on top of a generated beat, and then basically have a playlist so I can pump iron while getting smarter. What's it called? Julius, name it. You're on the spot.
Beethoven.
There we go.
Oh.
Wow. That was good.
I was thinking mind of iron.
Wow.
Phenomenal. Okay, I guess that, yeah, so I have a creative idea, which is the invention of a new reasoning process. So I have a lot of respect for Akira's question of creativity. And as someone who's interested in long-form coherent generation, so this, like library, for example, generated books, put it in Google and Amazon. This is the basic coherence algorithm that allows you to do very long-form generation with sequences of LLM calls. And I believe that you can automate important parts of the creative process via prompting. And so, for example, you can break a thing down into its parts. For a laptop, you can break it down into the chassis, into the SEDs. For machine learning algorithm, you can break it into its mathematics, into its architecture, into the conceptual side of it, like compression or abstraction. And these decomposed representations of things can be recomposed into a huge space of creative outputs. This isn't the only creativity process that's cleanly implementable via a sequence of calls. So you can question all of the underlying assumptions behind something. You can do first principles thinking. You can basically find more abstract or general representations of how a solution works to map it in order into other problems that it's likely to transfer well to. So all of these are generators of training data for a new foundation model that will do what I call creative reasoning, where rather than having the standard reasoning trace, which starts with the think and has an ending of its thinking process after it generates its idea, it will start the creativity trace. The creativity trace, it will perhaps break down the object of interest into all of its parts, create a large hypothesis space, use a tool in the loop to evaluate the quality of its hypothesis. In the case of machine learning, you have the benchmark. In the case of mathematics, you have a proof checker. But basically, the intent is to generate a creative algorithm or research idea, implement an evaluator for it, and then train the model to have good ideas rather than bad, where good is determined by doing well on a benchmark or by correctly representing a mathematical proof, and bad is determined by performing poorly on a benchmark or having that proof be incorrect. And this sort of advent of a new kind of reasoning will basically be a way to use agentic creative processes to inject creative thought into a machine learning model that is going to be intrinsically creative, which is internalize the patterns of successful creative thinking. So if you're interested, target the collaborator, and we will be using the GPUs that we have access to fine-tune likely a variant of plan, but plausibly GPT-OSS, in order to have this unique form of reasoning attached to it. So hopefully at the end of the day, you can also try out a creative foundation model. Wow. Okay, any last questions? Okay.
Go ahead and get to pitch mine.
Okay, sorry, one more bit. Okay, 2 more bits.
Hey everybody. Hello. My name is Mickey, and I've been working in tools for thought for a long time. One of the spaces that I'm really interested in is how do I enlist all the things and all the people and all the places around me to actually help me build a tool set, skill set, or mindset. So right now, Alexa has its own mission, and it's going to try to sell me things, and so does Siri, and so does everything else. What if I could say, actually, I want to dial my watch to like which skill set, tool set, or mindset I want to build, and it automatically does matching and enlists everybody and everything around me to actually build that skill. Good example is Flights of Fancy. Turns out some people are procrastinators and some people are precrastinators. Precrastinators ship, procrastinators never ship. But it turns out there's a wonderful paper about actually needing to go through the forest and wander through sort of the wasteland. And so how could I, if I'm a procrastinator, how could I actually turn the dial and enlist everything around me to help me build capacity to actually shift, but actually give enough time for me to find creative ideas. We see this in like what Pixar does and their council of guiders that actually help the new writer, director come up with something. They know they're going to go through the wilderness, and they help them make it through the wilderness and actually ship a film. I need coders. I need people who actually understand how to build stuff. I can certainly use some of the pre-made tools like Bolt. I also am very curious about how it might enlist Markov blankets and active inference. So I'd like anybody who actually has played around or has APIs that can actually do, for instance, free energy principle and Markov blankets. That's it.
I'm a big fan of, so I have all these Telegram bots texting me about my research ideas all the time. So I'm a big fan of this innovation.
Right, folks. So I guess everybody has heard about the illusion of thinking. different paper that came out a while ago, and my work is around entropy. So I'm working to try to fix hallucinations, and today I'm going to do something in an application to show how Immanuel Kant and Routing in philosophy can help fight hallucinations and making a model aware and do something about it, about its own bias. And as a good human, with not very linear thoughts, I also am thinking about the Stoner API. So doing the opposite, like a API that doesn't do anything useful. So if anybody wants to do Stoner API as well, I'm down, but I can explain the idea, and that's it.
Very fun. Okay, some final logistics. There's a bathroom on this floor and also on the very bottom floor. You are currently on the 3rd floor of a 4-story mansion. So the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floor, which is this one, are totally open to hacking. Please do make your way downstairs, get comfortable, build wherever you'd like to build. Please don't go upstairs. It's mostly private rooms, and so we try to keep it static. There's food here for you for lunch. There'll be dinner as well. Yeah, water's arrived as well, so do partake as soon as I'm done talking. And yeah, take this opportunity to build something special. I do think there are a lot of phenomenal people here. Please do build with them, get to know them, become friends with each other. Starting a Signal chat for AI4Thought, so if you guys ever want to hang out in an online space, you can just send your ideas, get feedback, meet people. I can have that be a long-running experience. And yeah, have fun. I guess at the end of the day, 8 o'clock, we are going to gather in this exact place in order to use all of the tools that you guys have picked today. So can't wait to try out each and every one of your ideas. Do you have a question?
I remember Sasha saying something to the effect of understand what the rules are to win the competition. Where are the criteria that says this is who wins?
I see, yes, that makes sense. So we have a judge, as we know. There'll be, it's an either deeds or info, but they'll be evaluating 3 prizes. So the first prize is the best use of DeepMind or Google tooling, and that's everything in GSP. So that is Gemini, the use of Imagen, the use of their field tools, so they have their own app builder, the use of data music generators. If you want to add music, this would be Beethoven setup, maybe try that around. Yeah, so there's a prize for use of that tool, and that'll be one way that you can win. Second is there's a full prize for the best use of tools. So if your app really goes really well, that can win. The final is there's a general prize. So that's going to be a 1st, 2nd, 3rd place. It's 500 put among those. And that will be the discretion of the judge, but in general, what judging looks at is like, what is the likely impact of your project? What is the technical sophistication of your project? And how creative is it? Is it interesting? Is it different? And then for each hackathon there's a theme. It's AI4Thought, so the project is going to be the best sort of thought improver.
Could you go over where the Bolt promo code goes in again?
Yeah, I briefly looked at the app while I was presenting, but actually didn't immediately find it. So I'll at the end and send that video. Cool. Any more questions?
Comment for the people who are trying the super connector for team formation. Now that more people have signed up, just respond saying hi, and it'll give you the best matches in the room.
The thought pool's already working. Okay, can't wait to try out what you built today. And with the AI4Thought Hackathon commence.
Yeah! If you're interested in Team Beethoven, please come over here. What's your wants to build something
Oh yeah, no, not that one. I think the piano thing, I forgot how to do one. I don't even remember. It was so so I'm just thinking about oh yeah.
I have some idea for building.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Ah. What do you want to do?
Okay, quick announcement for those of you who want to upgrade your Bolt account with the promotion code. There's a space to add the promotion code when you go to upgrade your account. So go to subscribe and you'll see a spot for adding your promotion code.
Do you have to be on do you have to be not in free plans to upgrade for
It's when you're in the process of upgrading to advanced
I don't know how people manage their personal knowledge, but I have a lot of notes in my local memo, and it is very spread a lot, like Apple Memo, like from Slack direct message in myself.
What if it's saying the code is
and so on.
invalid?
So I just put that in a single inbox, then the AI agent categorizes and then summarizes or something.
Do you want to do it by yourself? 여기 쭉 있으실 건데 거기 안에서 있다는 거. 혼자 적어놓은 아이디어인데. 발표할 수 있어.
모르겠어요. Actually, I think many people have their own knowledge base. Do you have knowledge base for your study or your memo? You have it? Like, journal is also included, and your task. Yeah. And I'm having some difficulties while categorizing where to put my notes. Yeah. I want.
So if I just manage.
I'm also bad at it. I'm very messy, so I take care of. Yeah. So it's really difficult to find something somewhere because I have a lot of notes. So what I want to do is just take care of that, and AI agent just read themselves.
So if I just write notes, that it automatically categorizes,
Yeah.
like the applications in Apple, right? Like this one, yeah, grouping, yeah. Grouping? 이거 자동. Yeah.
Ah, that's right.
이거 하고 싶어요,
한다면은 네 모르겠어. 근데 뭔가 할 수 있는 게 뭘 할 수 있을지 모르겠어. 이건 뭘까요?
Like with this thing, like, you know, paragraph, or this paragraph, you know, example That's one thing. Another thing, turning these types of things, like, I don't know how much command I use, but like something basically say like, and you extend this, this is maybe like a real example, but you can say essentially like, like essentially like transcribe, and then like some like URL, and then you can pipe that to like something
But you haven't done it.
I basically probably like I wrote like a Python for it. I just put it in the file. Yeah, and it's pretty cool actually. This NVIDIA model like runs the link, so it's really fast. So it's transcribed much faster than the whole thing a couple of years ago.
I kind of wish I put that story into the wedding speech. I think it would have waiting 10 minutes to summarize it.
Yeah, so like I already have this Python.
Yeah.
Like kind of this Unix first philosophy.
I'm gonna go scout out that system. Thank you.